What is going on? This is Cody, and you are tuned to B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios. We've got another special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with Maya. Maya, what makes today's edition special?
Because David Del Rio is calling in.
David Del Rio, woo! Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm so psyched to speak with Maya. It's going to be great.
Well, take it away, Maya.
So my first question for you is who or what inspired you to start acting?
Oh, man. Well, what inspired me to start acting was I've always known that I wanted to make people laugh ever since I was, like 7 years old. And, and then all of a sudden I just started taking, acting classes and had really cool acting teachers. And then it kind of started getting into more serious roles. And I kind of just wanted to be the type of actor that brings joy to a lot of people with the characters that I play. And so I kind of knew that I just really always wanted to make people smile. And that is exactly the reason why I started acting.
Oh, cool. So you worked with Skylar Astin, Ben Platt, and Anna Kendrick in Pitch Perfect.
That's right.
Which song was the most fun to perform for you?
Oh, well, they're my troublemaker team. And I'll always be proud to be a troublemaker. No, I think my favorite song, that's a great question. I haven't thought about Pitch Perfect songs in so long. But I would think of, any of the songs that we did in the final competition, where we mixed Bright Lights, Big Lights, Bigger City by CeeLo, and we would just mix it with B.O.B.'s I Got the Magic. That was really, really fun to do. And in Pitch Perfect, that's like a 5-minute, 6-minute, sequence, but that took us like 3 days to film, a full 3 days. But I'm really, really proud of how it turned out, proud of the movie, and proud to know those guys.
Oh, cool. So you were in the Disney Channel movie Geek Charming with Sarah Hyland, Grease Live, The Troop, and so many other things. Have you had a favorite project or character that you played?
Oh, that's a great question. I am just very grateful anytime someone asks me to come and play. And so I kind of treat every project and every character as sort of my favorite kid. So in the moment, but I would say, the Troop started it all for me. And I'm really grateful to Nickelodeon and the Troop. And just every project has been really my favorite. And, I'll tell you this, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to be a T-Bird. So the fact that I got to do Grease Live was a real dream come true. And I still have my T-Bird jacket. Not here, it's in storage, but if I had it, I would show it to you, but maybe another time.
Oh, cool. So I love The Baker and the Beauty. And,
thank you.
And I just saw when you posted on Instagram that they weren't renewing it. I was actually crying. So I was wondering, what was your favorite episode to film?
Well, thank you so much for that. I'm sorry that that news was hard for you. But it's just part of the business, right? So I'll always be grateful to the network and to the studio, and I'll be grateful for playing Mateo. And again, and what I will say about that is, don't be too discouraged, yet. We are being shopped around to other places, so we'll see if Hulu or Netflix, or if anyone's interested, in our show. And I'm really so glad for fans like you and all the fans out there that are reaching out to Netflix and Hulu and Pop TV and talking about, maybe giving our show a second season. My favorite part and scenes as Mateo is when we're in the dinner table, when all the family is just in the dinner table. Anytime we're in the dinner table with the family, I just have such a fun time, because it's like everything happens in a family dinner table. All those discussions and the way that we laugh and the way that we sort of fight and all that stuff. That those are my favorite moments, I would say. And then, I always love singing and dancing. So I'm glad they gave me a shot to sing and dance at the last episode. So.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So can you relate to Mateo in any way?
Sure. Well, I'm from Miami and Mateo's from Miami, and I'm also Cuban and Mateo's Cuban. So we have a lot in common there. And he is the type of guy who wants to make his family laugh constantly. And that's kind of who I am as well. And so I love making just everybody smile and positive. And that's just the kind of guy that I am. And I think Mateo is really close to that as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so many of your roles have to do with music. Is music a big part of your life?
Maya, it's funny. I don't know why a lot of my roles have music as a part of them. I guess I just lucked out, because I don't really kind of tell people, I'm a singer, so you should only cast me in singing roles and all that stuff. It kind of just worked out that way. And so yeah, I think it's just based on the characters that I play and based on the sort of way that I express a character's lines and such, has a little bit of musicality that people kind of think that I have this sort of rhythm that they want to just add and incorporate music to. And so I'm really, really happy that they do that.
Cool. Yeah.
This is a great interview. How long have you been doing this now?
Thank you. 3 years.
Wow. A pro. I'm dealing with a pro here.
She's on more than 100.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So do you have any upcoming projects?
Well, so I'm a director and a producer as well. I have a movie that I directed that's being shopped around now, and it's a horror movie. And my wife and I are producing partners, and we are have a couple of things in development, and we have a movie from our production company that is a horror comedy called The Big Feed, and that hopefully will come out within the rest of this year or maybe next year. So we'll see.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm writing every day. Obviously, I take time to sort of write as much as I can, even though even if it means that, not for the sake for anybody to read it or not for the sake of to sell it or people will buy it. It's just to kind of keep me creative and keep me sort of exercising my creative brain.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, you recently directed the horror film Roadhead. Mm-hmm. What drew you to a horror film?
It's funny. First of all, Thank you for doing your research, because that's awesome. What drew me to directing a horror film? That's interesting. It's only because I like the challenge, and it kind of excited me to have a chance to direct a film that maybe I can see how I can technically try to scare people, and in the midst also making people laugh, because it is a horror comedy as well. But any chance I get to direct, I don't really kind of look at it in a way of what type of genre it is. I don't want to be so closed-minded in that way, but what I care about is the story. And if the story excites me, then I don't care what kind of genre it is. If the story excites me, then I'm in.
Cool. So you're an actor, director, and producer. What draws you to being behind the camera?
Wow, good question. I think there's no, it's all about putting together a story for people to enjoy. And sometimes I do that as an actor, and I get to just say the lines that are written for me. And then sometimes it's really cool to kind of collaborate and work with people to make a story from the ground up. And I like collaborating with other actors that are not like me. I like collaborating with other directors that are not like me and producers that are not like me, because it gives us an opportunity to kind of open our eyes and our hearts and our minds to a whole different perspective and point of view of things. And that's what really draws me to be behind the camera, to kind of explore what else I can do creatively in a way that doesn't have to have me just tell the story with just saying lines.
Oh, cool. Is there a certain line from a song that's always stuck with you or inspires you?
I love that question. Man, I don't know. That's a great question. I'm just looking through my Rolodex of lyrics that I like. What first comes to mind is New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, because I went to college in New York, and my wife and I love that city. And I got to say, truer words never spoken. If you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere.
Cool. So what do you like to do in your spare time?
What do I like to do in my spare time? Well, I have a French bulldog. Would you like to meet her?
Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
Oh, come here, Boo-Boo. So this is my French bulldog, Boo Radley.
Oh.
And she knows how to look at herself in the camera. Who's that? You see, and she's very vocal too. Don't let the growl fool you. She's just so funny because she looks at herself in the mirror and she looks at herself in the camera. But she's a 10-year-old. She's a little 10-year-old French bulldog, and basically I try to make as much time as I can just to play with her and just chill with her as much as I can. But other than that, I like to read. I'm what you call a cinephile. So I'm like addicted to movies. So I like to try to watch as many movies and content out there to kind of keep me educated and fresh of what's new out there, as well as, as an actor, I like to steal things from other actors. That's what we kind of do. So watching sort of a movie a day kind of helps me do that. But any of my spare time, I try to read, I try to write, and if I can, and if I have time, figure out how to sort of develop new projects. And if there's any time I can have with my family, then I try to spend that time too.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, my family and I love watching movies. Since quarantine, we've watched so many. Um,
Has there been any movies that stood out to you?
yeah, we actually just on Saturday we watched The King of Staten Island.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
But also just I love Pete Davidson. So, but my sister wants to be a filmmaker, so she always watches movies with like a director's eye.
That's right. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean that's what we should be doing. And by the way, like not too bad of homework. You know what I mean? If you're a filmmaker, oh yeah, I just have to watch a movie. That's great. You know, and watch a movie. Continue to watch movies, and I do suggest that to filmmakers. You know, I feel like to be a filmmaker, you must be obsessed with movies. But that's just my thing. That's just my way, and I am obsessed. And so I think that because I like watching movies with that keen eye, I like watching movies saying how much that must have cost that day, you know, or what was the director's perspective. And every time I actually watch a movie, no matter how old or new, the way that I see it is if I haven't seen a movie before, it's new to me. I don't care when it was made or anything. A new movie is a movie you haven't seen before. It doesn't have to be the newest of new, you know. I just saw a movie called His Girl Friday that was filmed in 1940, and that was my first time ever seeing it. And I loved it. I just loved it because it was just like watching a movie from the 40s is just such a fun experience, you know? It's just so much fun to do. And you get to see an actor like Cary Grant. And when you look at Cary Grant, you say, oh my gosh, that's George Clooney. There's no way that you can't think that that's not George Clooney, because George Clooney takes from him and it was inspired by him. So, you know, with that kind of eye of how to watch movies is kind of how I do it. So your sister's doing good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, there is another movie that stood out to me. Like when quarantine started, we watched Jesse Eisenberg's movie Adventureland.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So that sticks out to me because I really liked that movie. And
you interviewed him, right?
Yeah.
So lucky. So lucky.
Yeah, I really wasn't breathing that day. My mom had to keep reminding me to breathe.
Oh, oh, that's great. I'm sure you did great. I'm sure you're handling it. If you handle it the way you're handling this interview, I have no doubt you did great.
Thank you. Yeah. So, what would be your dream show to guest star on?
Great question. Why are you offering? Are you going to call them for me? Because that'd be great. Are you saying like a show that's on now?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Either one. If there's one that was on that ended, or
okay. I think if one that was like ended, The Office looks like the best show to work on. So I would have loved to do, I would love to be in a type of show like that with comedic geniuses like that. And I think the show now that I would love to be a guest star on. I'd like to be on an HBO show called Succession. I think that'd be a fantastic sort of world to dive into. And I think that it's so in its own way soapy that it's just sometimes so soapy, it's so good, and I think that the actors are incredible, the writing's great, and I would love to kind of be a part of that story. So yeah, I would say Succession.
Oh, cool. So do you ever get anxiety before auditions, and what do you do to calm those nerves?
All the time. There's not one audition that I do not have anxiety over. And then sometimes I kind of do breathing exercises. I am a man of faith, so I pray in the car on the way. And, I don't know. Sometimes I kind of just need to remind myself that auditioning is part of what I do as an actor. So it's not a job interview. It's just an opportunity to kind of act. And if that's what I want to do, I would. I feel like I would act for free, and that is the opportunity that I'm getting. And so I just remind myself to go in there and show them ideas that I have as an actor, as opposed to like, okay, I'm going to do everything you want me to do, and you're going to love it. How I kind of do it is just, hey, I have an idea of this character. You called me in, and I'll show you what I got, and let's see if we can work from there. If not, then that's completely fine. And if so, would really love to have more notes. You kind of just want to be there, and I remind myself that I'm a actor who's working, so that kind of calms me down a little bit.
Cool. Yeah. So if you could have any song playing to announce your entrance into a room, what song would it be?
I love that question because I think about that. I think any Sinatra song would be appropriate for me, Frank Sinatra. So I would say maybe. Because if I entered with My Way, that's almost more of an exit song than a entrance song. But anything from Frank Sinatra, like Fly Me to the Moon, I'd love to just walk in there. Yeah, I would just walk right in there with it, and that would be the song.
Oh, cool.
What about you?
Oh, I feel like really any Ben Platt song.
Yes.
I feel like I really love his song Rain, so I feel like that song.
Incredible. Did you see his concert?
Yeah,
amazing, huh?
Watched it like 100 times on Netflix. So, and every time there are two songs that he sings that every time I always cry, and so. And
he's an incredible voice, and I gotta say, my top two performances I've ever seen in stage or film or TV would be Ben in Dear Evan Hansen. That shook me, and I think that not only the album's great, but the opportunity that my wife and I got to see him on stage do his thing was it's a performance you'll never forget, and he deserves everything that's happening to him because of it. So
that's so cool that you got to see him.
Yeah, it was incredible. He was incredible. I mean, to bawl and cry on stage and still sing like Ben Platt is a hard thing to do, and only he can do it the way he can. So we were very, very lucky to witness it.
Cool. Yeah. So what makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it?
A song?
No, just anything. Anytime you hear something, what makes you roll your eyes? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what makes me roll my eyes is just, what makes me roll my eyes really outside and the inside are just like people who don't allow other people to be who they are, and kind of just put them down. That's a big eye roll to them. And I always pray and give the advice if people are if you see that someone's just trying to mess with who you are, just give them an eye roll back and then keep walking. And I think that would be the best advice I can give.
I like that advice.
Yeah. Just give an eye roll and keep walking. Oh, you don't know me. All right, well, not your fault. And then just keep walking.
Yeah. So do you have a motto or quotation that you live by?
I've always lived by a quote called, it says, "By endurance we conquer," and it was from a book. One that I kind of started saying is that persistence has no deadline. So you can just keep on pushing and pushing and moving forward after your dreams. And there is no, as long as you keep following your dreams and doing the correct, or not even doing the correct, but your own way, as long as you're doing it, as long as there's action towards your dream, there is no end in sight. There is no, I should get it done by this time. No, you got to forgive yourself and give yourself the time you need, because let's say, for an example, Baker and the Beauty started, and then it ended, but you got to ask what's next, and I think, and that's another motto I would say to myself: what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah, I like those. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero, and why?
My wife really is a real life superhero every single day. She just astounds me with her superpowers of love and of help and of support, of humor. She's just got these superpowers that I am so lucky to witness every day.
Cool. Yeah, well, that was my last question. So thank you so much for calling in.
Oh my gosh. I had such a great time, and thank you so much for reaching out to me, and would love to do this again whenever you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would love to have you call back in.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
David, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know all the kids here at Children's Hospital Colorado enjoyed hearing everything you had to say and all the good advice and good knowledge. So we look forward to talking to you later. Thanks for being a part of Maya's latest news to keep you in the groove. And we'll keep our eyes open on for anything you might be in and other things you're directing and producing. Maya always keeps us updated with her weekly show, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.